Today on the channel, the most controversial Jakks Classic Superstars set of all time. Jakks Classic Superstars Tag Team Series 9. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our weekly deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars world. And today, Jakks Classic Superstars Series 9, the tag teams. Like I said at the open, the most controversial Jakks Classic Superstars set of all time, if you ask me at least. This is my opinion here, but it really is. This, on paper, should be one of the strongest tag team sets ever released in the line. It should also be one of the best sets altogether out of everything in the line. However, the execution was not here. This is some of those "that's so Jakks." You hear people say it all the time. That's so Jakks. Well, this set is that's so Jakks. The highest of highs to the lowest of lows. And there's issues with every single two-pack in here. And it just pains me. This set just pains me. I want a do-over. I want to go back in time and rewrite history. Obviously, we can't do that. But we're going to talk about these packs like we always do. We'll go through each one, and I'm going to tell you why these absolutely suck. There you go, I said it. So a little disappointing here, but hey, you guys know this videos keep rolling on every single Tuesday. We got a lot more videos to come. Deluxe Classics, the 3-packs, limited edition, Ring Giants, the rings, the wardrobes, the 1 of 100s, you name it. We got a long ways to go, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the old notification bell so you don't miss any of these Jakks Classic Superstars deep dive videos, as we still got a lot more to go. So make sure you get that done. And while you're there, like the video. Why not? Hey, might as well cross it off the list now, huh? Anyways, we're going to start Series 9, the tag teams with the British Bulldogs. And I should say, just like all the other tag team videos, Toys R Us exclusive. We always found them at Toys R Us. That was the only place to find them. Jakks really didn't solicit them like the other lines they did because, hey, these were already pre-sold at Toys R Us. They didn't have to promote them. Toys R Us wasn't promoting them in their ads. Actually, you guys tell me in the comments. I don't recall ever seeing a circular, like a Sunday paper Toys R Us ad that had the Classic Superstars line in them, especially the tag teams. I don't remember the promotion ever happening on them. There might have been some on the regular series, but I don't think the Toys R Us tag teams were ever in an ad or anything like that. But tell me if I'm wrong. I don't remember it myself, but very possibly could have happened. But we'll start it off. We're going to start off with two of my favorite tag team. Not my favorite tag team, one of my favorite tag teams. Really easy for me to say. But that is the British Bulldog. And the British Bulldogs are in the news in the toy world as Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog single release, collector's edition, Target exclusive this go around, is starting to hit the market. And we'll take a look at that one really quick while we're doing this video. Why wouldn't we? But Dynamite Kid, he's the sleeping giant. He's a figure we all want in the Mattel line. Not sure it's going to happen. I do hate to see customizers left and right are chopping the head off this Jakks figure to make Dynamite to go along with the Davey Boy. Breaks my heart as a Jakks guy. I don't like to see that, but destroying all these Dynamite Kid figures is going to make the ones that remain worth that much more. And as we all know, the Classic Superstars line keeps growing in value every single day. So it is what it is. If it's your figure, hey, do what you want with it. I just pains my heart to see that. But so here we go. Let's take a look at the packaging on this. We always do that first. The traditional Classic Superstars tag team packaging that we love. We got the Classic Superstars logo up top. You got the gold seal of approval up there. But then you got the British Bulldogs. Pretty similar body styles. Obviously a little bit different. Davey just a little bit bigger. But you got the same gear on. The blue tights, the white tights on there. Blue trunks, white tights, I should say. Different color knee pads on them, but same boots. Does come with Matilda, which is kind of cool to see. Or is it Winston? No, it's Matilda, I believe, with the Bulldogs. Winston solo. And then you only get one tag team. So that's one of the first issues we find with this pack here. So you get one tag team title. I mean, you couldn't put the second one in there, Jakks. I mean, it just looks weird with one tag team title. It's not like they shared it. So there you go. Then you got the dog in there, Matilda. It's not the best. It doesn't size very well. It looks a little bit strange, but it is what it is. I mean, that's probably my least fault. Of the three main faults with this, that's probably far down the list because, yeah, it doesn't look great. It might have been used. I almost remember, and I can't remember, but a long time ago, I think somebody found that, and it was part of some toy, little children's toy, and that's what Jakks had, and they just reused it. Smart on Jack's part, I guess, but we would have liked to seen a better dog. But if anybody can remember what toy that was, put it in the comments. I'd love to remember that. But then the major issue with this pack, outside of the tag team title, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith over here, of course, they gave him the long braids that he had on his solo career run. Should have the short hair, and that just takes this away. This would have been a phenomenal pack. Don't even give us the tag team title. Leave that out. We'd be fine with that. But get the right head on Davey Boy Smith. Just breaks my heart because this pack would look so cool. I love the pack, the figures in here. It's just totally missing it. Jakks did kind of right a wrong a little bit, as they did have the Classic Superstars release. And I love that set in the traditional single-carded series. I wish they were together. But being separate, they're in their kind of baseball jerseys is what I always call them, kind of the baseball shirts. Kind of like what I'm wearing right now, the old Night Demon baseball type shirt. That's what they're in with their British Bulldogs, which I do like that one. And they did get the correct head on Davey Boy Smith. I wish they would have pulled it over onto here. So maybe it's a little nitpicky. I don't think it is. I mean, the title belt is a travesty. Why only one? That doesn't really make any sense. And then, of course, the head. So pretty disappointing as a whole for this one, from one of our most anticipated tag teams and one of the most iconic mid-'80s tag teams in the WWF, WWE. So it was really disappointing, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to right this wrong. I don't foresee Mattel giving us a 2-pack of the British Bulldogs anytime soon. Here's the side, traditional side. You got both their names right there. And then, of course, you got the glamour shots. Always love the glamour shots. I always thought Dynamite's head was a tad big. You guys know with Jakks, every once in a while we got the heads that were just a tad big. Dynamite I always thought kind of had that giant head issue. There they are on the back. We'll read the little birds. You got the 2 glamour shots. You got the whole line down below. UPCs, all the warnings, that kind of fun stuff. And you can see right there in the middle, the British Bulldogs. You can see the knee pads on them, both blue. That is not the way it came out in the package. We got one blue, and then you got Dynamite black. So that is different from the old prototypes. That's about it as far as difference. Bulldog, I think a different torso on this one also. A little more ripped on Bulldog's torso here. But boy, this pack just missed just by that much. Just missed it. Dynamite Kid debuted 1975, 228 pounds, 5'8", the finishing move, the diving headbutt. Davey Boy Smith, 1978 debuted, 260 pounds, 6'3", finishing move, the power slam. I feel like Davey Boy Smith was not 6'3". I feel like he was like 5'10", but I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, very disappointing on this set. As much as I'm a huge Bulldogs fan, I was really jazzed and really excited for this set, and just to go to the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. I could have overlooked the tag team set, but I can't overlook the wrong head on Davey Boy. It's just not, just doesn't make sense. It just drives me nuts. I guess, hey, at least we got a Davey Boy Smith head. It could have been, they could have gave us the Nikita Koloff head on there and said, oh, it's Davey Boy, just pretend. But they didn't. But it is what it is at this point. There's nothing we could do. This came out in, let's see, 2008. So it's been some time. You know, it's been some time since this came out. But there you go. The British Bulldogs, the first disappointment in Classics Series 9. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Classic Tag Team Series 9, Jakks Classic Superstars Tag Team Series 9 Toys R Us exclusives continue with one of the most iconic tag teams of all time, the Rock and Roll Express. Truly a game-changer tag team back in the 80s. Go back and watch their matches. I know a lot of people of my age group, maybe my age bracket, really love the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. But, you know, they were a play off the Rock and Roll Express, to me. That's what I always thought. There was a lot of offshoots of people trying to imitate the Rock and Roll Express. But you go back to the old days. They had some WCW, NWA stuff that was really good. But you look at some of their Mid-South stuff, some of their old stuff, the Rock and Roll Express were at another gear compared to a lot of tag teams. Smaller guys, work together. You guys that watch these videos, you probably know your Rock and Roll Express history. So it was really cool to get them in this set. We have never got the Rock and Roll Express in figure form until this time. This was truly a game changer. Seeing this, that it was coming out, holy cow, I just could not believe it. But then, just like the British Bulldogs, major disappointment with this 2-pack. This could be, off the top of my head right now, maybe if I sat and thought about it longer, this could be the biggest travesty in Jakks Classic Superstars history. The whole line as a whole, the most disappointing 2-pack to me, in my opinion. You guys in the comments, tell me if you think there's something that was more disappointing than this. Me being a Rock and Roll Express fan really broke my heart. This really broke my heart, and it was a head scratcher. I never heard any comments about, hey, we're going to fix this or anything. I was like, no comments from Jakks, as far as I remember. Maybe there was. If there was, somebody could tell me in the comments, but I don't remember any commentary on it. But at the end of the day, the big issue here was Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, of course, they messed up the hair color. It should be reversed. Ricky Morton should have blonde hair. Robert Gibson should have black hair. Instead, they got it mixed up. So it's one of those things in the factory. I believe these were made in China, if I'm right. I believe so. I don't see it, but I'm sure it's in there. But it was made overseas, and they probably have no idea Ricky and Robert is. They didn't know. They're just painting through, and it goes through. And then, Ricky and Robert, people know the Rock and Roll Express, but we always talk about it on the channel a lot, about can you pull the head off and look at the figure and say, do you know who that is? Oh, I know that's Triple H. Oh, I know that's the Ultimate Warrior, or whoever. I'm not sure a ton of people, especially in a factory, in a land of China, far away from America, where the Rock and Roll Express are based out of and, wrestled all their career. I don't know. I could see that easily getting mixed up. Nobody thinks anything different. They just, it is what it is, and we painted them wrong, and they went through, and then the supervisors, they didn't catch the mistake, get them into America, and nobody caught the mistake, or even worse, nobody caught the mistake. Maybe they caught the mistake and said, meh, oh well, send it out. That's even worse. It should have been recalled, should have been repacked. Send out only 2 in this set, send out 4 in the next. I don't know. Something should have happened. Just a travesty, because to this day, we haven't got a Mattel Rock and Roll Express, no Rock and Roll Express ever. There's rumors out there that we might, in the Hasbro Zombie Sailor line, the love letter to the Hasbro figures he's doing, there's been rumors there might be a Rock and Roll Express in there. That would be really cool, and I'll probably buy those, but I really want this style 6-inch, Mattel, Super 7, somebody come out with a Rock and Roll Express. I have to think Jeremy Padower, he grew up loving the Rock and Roll Express. I have to think if he does really come out with that Classic Superstars line for AEW, the Rock and Roll Express is going to be one of the first sets. If they do a tag team set, they'd be in the first set. I'd have to think just him growing up, being around them, knowing the history of the Rock and Roll Express, and then, hey, guess what? Rock and Roll Express have been on AEW, so it just kind of fits. We'll see what the future holds, but hopefully there's an update one of these days, because I was so excited for this, and just the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, just like the British Bulldog. So there you go. So there it is, old Ricky and Robert with the wrong hair colors. But they did add soft goods. The handkerchiefs tied around their legs, as you guys can see. So that's at least a little something. They got vests in there. Typical packaging. We know the packaging. We love the packaging at this point. Yeah, Ricky and Robert Gibson on the side. Little mixed up glamour shots on the other side. Just breaks my heart every time I look at it. There you go. There's the back. You can notice the prototype pictures down here, just straight black tights. So they added the color, the red and the blue handkerchiefs around there, really added to the figures. So we do appreciate that. It's just too bad they couldn't get the heads right. But that's the back, and let's read the back here. Limited edition. Ricky Morton debuted 1979, 228 pounds, 5'11". Favorite move? Not the finisher move, but his favorite move. That missile drop kick. Robert Gibson debuted 1977, 225 pounds, height 5'11", and his favorite move was just the regular drop kick. He dropped the missile. I'm just doing a regular drop kick. Ricky, you do the missile, I'll do the regular. That's what they said to each other. Yeah, besides that, what do you do? I don't know. We've said enough here, but just another disappointment. I've just been so bummed by this set, but there's nothing we can do. We can't turn back time, but hopefully Jeremy, leading the pack at Jazzwares, he can right that wrong for us. We can make the universe right again. Who knows what would happen if they get this figured out and we get a proper Rock and Roll Express. So there you have it, Rock and Roll Express. Let's move on to the last tag team in Series 9. All right, we finish up with the last tag team in Series 9, and I got to admit, this is probably the least pain point of the set for me. The other two were total travesties. This one was a travesty. However, not as bad as the two before it, but still major issues with this pack that we're going to talk about. And we're talking about the Koloffs, Ivan and Nikita Koloff. If you were a fan of NWA in the mid-'80s, you knew the Koloffs, especially Nikita. He was coming on strong when I was getting into wrestling. Ivan at that point had been around a long time. So, he was prolonged his career a little bit by putting with Nikita, being a tag team, being the Russians. But as we all know, Nikita broke off Would love to see a Nikita Koloff Mattel Elite one day. He didn't have face paint and stuff, but he had that intensity of the Ultimate Warrior. And some people didn't like it, but as a little kid, when he turned into a good guy, he turned into a face in WCW, went on his solo run. He had the black singlet. I know he teamed with Sting and a few others. I loved that Nikita Koloff. I was all in at that time at WCW. You know, I was 9, 10, 11, something like that. I was eating it with a fork and a spoon. And sometimes, like I said, I'd even go to KFC and I'd get myself a spork. That's how into Nikita Koloff I was. It's funny how, you know, he only spoke Russian back in the day, and then he got better. You know, he came into his own and changed his voice and everything else. Funny how that works sometimes. But this set, a great set, one I was looking forward to. And on, you know, just looking at it right here, hey, it looks good. There's a big flag in the background. We didn't get a lot of flags. That's a pretty cool set. Getting an Ivan Koloff in the Jakks Classic Superstar, not many more deserving than Ivan. Had huge feuds with Bruno over the WWF title back in the day. So it was cool to get Ivan Koloff in the Classic Superstars line. Would have preferred him in a single line, single card. That would have made more sense to me. But it's cool we got this too. But I would have loved to have him also in the single line. I think he might have been earmarked at one time on paper, and then it just never happened. So all you got was this tag team. I would love to get this Ivan one day. I do have the Nikita loose from the classic run. That Nikita is not really that much different. It is bald on this one, whereas Classic Superstars single card release, he does have stubble. This one is totally bald. The only other difference is on the single card release, he has white wrist tape on one hand. He does not have that on here. Besides that, the exact same figure. My biggest issue, though, with this set is, and maybe it's not obvious when you look at it, but Nikita just looks like a cruiserweight. He looks so small in this package. They use the total wrong body type. You know, I give Jakks grief a little bit about that super heavyweight body type. It's just too big for some guys. This body type, way too small for Nikita Koloff. You should have used like the Ultimate Warrior body or something along them lines. Would have looked a lot better on this Nikita. Really takes away, since we haven't got another Nikita in the Mattel or Jakks line. They've only used this body type, and it just doesn't look like Nikita to me. And then the other one is the typical Jakks. Sometimes with the accessories, it gets a little wonky. Yeah, I said it. It gets a little wonky. They use the John Cena like chain gang chain. As we all know, he had the regular chain. Get the JYD chain, get a better chain, do something instead of this cheap plastic one. It just looks terrible. It looks like Nikita's getting ready to go put his bike outside the arena and lock his bike up so no kids steal it. It's just disappointing. I do like the flag. I think that was cool. Ivan Koloff, I don't really have any issues with that figure. I think he looks good. It's funny, I remember people used to think this was Boris Zukov. People that didn't know their Ivan Koloff history, but I remember back in the day, people said, oh, there's Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov. That's what they thought this tag team was. And you know, I don't know. Who was the more popular tag team? Was it Ivan and Nikita, or was it the Bolsheviks, Nikolai and Boris Zukov? You could really make a case for both. Work rate, matches, you got to go with these two all day long. But I think for the general population of knowing people, I got to think Ivan and Nikolai Volkov were more well-known. Definitely more eyes, bigger pay-per-views, bigger stage. Got to admit, WWF back in the day, a bigger stage. And also Nikolai Volkov, you know, I'd put him on par with Ivan Koloff. Geez, easy for me to say, as far as longevity career-wise. So there you go. That's a good one down in the comments. Who is more well-known, Ivan and Nikita or Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov? You guys tell me. But there it is. The old Classic Superstars logo. Love that star logo. Two Russians, and they're mad. There you go. Ivan and Nikita on the side. Got the cool glamour shots right there. And then the back. So it is a travesty pack, but no means as bad as the other two, but still two issues with this one for me. And it's just, it hurts. It hurts. Let's see what it says about old Ivan Koloff. Debuted in 1965, 271 pounds, 5'10". Finishing move, the old bear hug. Nikita Koloff debuted in 1984, 275 pounds, 6'3". Finishing move, the Russian Sickle. I just loved that name as a kid, the Russian Sickle. It just seems so menacing instead of just calling it a clothesline or even a lariat, which I love that from Stan Hansen. The Russian Sickle just always sounded really cool to me. Looking at their prototypes on the back, I don't really see a whole lot different. Missing knee pads on Ivan. And that's about it. That's about it from the back. So nothing else really too crazy. But there it is. Another pack, another day. We're going to move on next week to Series 10, of course. That's what comes after 9, so it just makes sense to me. I don't know about you. But we'll do Series 10, Toys R Us exclusive tag teams. Getting down to the end of it. As we get closer to the end, we'll probably do all the tag team sets, the ringside exclusives. Just knock all these tag teams out of the way. We might just do that. But then I'll put the poll up on my YouTube, maybe my Twitter as well. We'll see. But at least on the YouTube community page thing, I'll put the poll up. Do we want to see the Deluxe Classics next? Do we want to see the 3-packs? Do we want to look at exclusives? We'll pick from one of those. We'll get to it all eventually, but I'll let you guys vote which ones we do next. So there's Classic Superstars Series 9. So you guys, tell me your comments on this. Were you as disappointed in the execution of these sets as I was back in the day? You guys let me know. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn that old notification bell on. As you guys know, every Tuesday, we're coming out with new Jakks Classic Superstars videos. So for the British Bulldogs, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Koloff family, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.